Good afternoon. Welcome. On behalf of Gene Ford and Richard Holmberg, his family and friends, I want to thank you for being here. It's going to be a fun afternoon. It's going to be a lot of memories, some great music. It's going to be a very special afternoon. All of us are here for a reason. We're family, we're friends, we're students. But the main reason we're here is because Mr. Holmberg left a mark. I call him Mr. Holmberg. He was my teacher. Some teachers teach. They teach you how to add 2 plus 2. They teach you how to combine ingredients and do chemistry. Mr. Holmberg taught music, but there was more to what he did. He left a mark. He was able to push you to your limits, whether you knew what your limit was or not. He took you there, took you past it, made you something better. Like I said, he was my teacher. My name is David Pesich. I was the class of 1996. I was in his last musical there, which was The Music Man, and I somehow got the role of Harold Hill. Don't ask me how. I met Mr. Holmberg when I was 13 years old. I was a freshman. I was playing basketball at the time, and I joined choir because I was told it was easy. There's quite a laugh behind me because they know that choir was not easy. There was a lot to be learned, but there was also a lot of love and a lot of laughter and a lot of fun. So I found out I was terrible at basketball. And I was really only playing basketball because there were cheerleaders there and I was doing it for the girls. So I'm like, well, where are the girls? Well, I saw them in choir, which was easy, remember? So I started focusing on that, and Mr. Holmberg saw something in me, apparently, that I had not seen. He saw talent, he saw drive, and he nurtured that. Pushed me into solos, pushed me into ISMA, introduced, well, I knew Jill for a long time, but kind of, sorry, not that long. So I kind of took on that path that was unwillingly presented to me and pushed forward towards me. So that's where Mr. Holmberg comes in, and what he does to us as students and to you as friends and family, which is leave that mark. I didn't believe that I could be a gold ISMA person. I didn't believe that I could be Harold Hill on every page of a musical and have, I don't know, 372 songs or something like that. But for some reason he did. And it was a blessing, because what that did is it brought me out of my shell. I was a kid who didn't know much, just that I liked girls and I wasn't going to find them doing basketball. So experiencing that and having him as a role model, as well as many other people, was something else, because he taught me how to sing. He taught me theory of music and music appreciation. But what he really taught me to do was love music, have fun with it. I don't know how, back in the 90s, there's some people in the 90s and probably before that, the musical wasn't just, 15 people that sang. The musical was everybody, football players, basketball players, singers, non-singers, Outbackers. You remember those Outbackers? Oh my God, just everybody was welcome to come in and experience what it was really mean to appreciate music. And that impact, that impression that he left, where you leave that atmosphere of like, well, that was amazing, that was fun. This is how we all get together. There's a commonality of music, and it's led by one man, and that one man was Mr. Holmberg. Personally gave me the confidence to succeed. He put it in me. Push yourself to that limit, go farther, you'll get there. And that's why we're all here, because although Mr. Holmberg is my teacher, he's your friend, he's your family member, he had this amazing ability to just change who you are for the better. So that's my piece. And I'll be with you, kind of helping along, emceeing the afternoon. There's going to be some great music put together. You'll find in your program some words. When it gets to those songs, it's not there for you to look at and go, oh, that's nice. This is where you all rise up, sing, have some fun, enjoy it. Go back to those memories, because that's really what we're here for. Those amazing times, those memories that, well, again, it's why we're all here.
Consider yourself at home. Consider yourself one of the family. We take it to you so strong. It's clear we're going to get along. Consider yourself well in. Consider yourself part of the furniture. There isn't a lot to spare. Who cares? Whatever we got to share. If you chance with me, we should see some harder days. Empty larder days, wide brows. Always a chance for me, somebody to foot the bill. And the drinks are on the house. Consider yourself our mate. We don't have no fuss. For after some consideration we can state, consider yourself one of us. Oklahoma, where the wind comes sweeping down the plain, and the waving wheat can sure smell sweet when the wind comes right behind the rain. Oh, Oklahoma, every night my honey lamb and I sit alone and talk and watch a hawk making lazy circles in the sky. We know we belong to the land, and the land we belong to is grand. And when we say, yeah, we're only saying you're doing fine, Oklahoma, Oklahoma. Okay, Beach Road and Big Oklahoma. Yeah! June is busting out all over the meadow and the hill. Buds are busting out of bushes and the romping river bushes. Every little reeling leaves beside the mill. June is busting out all over. The feeling is getting so intense that the young Virginia creepers have been hugging the bejeepers out of all the morning glories on the fence. Because it's true.
Very nice. I would like to now introduce Jill Newsom, who most of us know, but for those of you who don't know, Jill Newsom is, Newsom, I apologize. She was a student of his, and then she became an accompanist of his, and of course, a good friend of his, and I believe many know her as the lovely and talented Jill Newsom.
Thank you. I really didn't want a role here because that's where I am comfortable. Now, I told them all this, and there's not maybe another opportunity, but these are all former students of Dick's and Jean's from 1960s to 1995. And we're just so thankful they all came together to pay tribute, and it's just an overwhelmingly wonderful response and a great tribute. So thank you for that. I want to share some, these were things that were on Facebook, but a lot of people are not on Facebook and were not able to hear these wonderful things that were said, so I just want to share a few of them with you. This person, I'm not going to name names, but just editing some of them, it says, "He changed all of us for the better by opening our eyes and ears to the power of music and song. He taught us teamwork, hard work, and pride in the joy of effort and accomplishment. The environment he created rejected stereotypes and provided a safe place for us to make mistakes and discover our own talents, while respecting each other's. He taught us to dream the impossible dream. Many of us have. He made us believe in a world where teenagers could appreciate a trip to the opera and football players could star in a musical. Talk about harmony, and what a twinkle in his eye I'll never forget. Mr. Fort, we know how much you both loved us, and I hope you can feel how much we all love you back. I'm heartbroken for your loss." And this person shared, "You taught me it was absolutely normal to fill my days with choir, orchestra, and musical theater. You used to make all of us wait until after Thanksgiving to announce the spring musical, and you said the turkey had to decide. I'll always cherish the crazy holiday parties at our house with you, Jean, Doug, Chris, and my mom, singing around the piano." Whoops. Hello.
Can't talk loud now.
You need to get another one?
You were the greatest teacher I ever had, and the sweetest friend to my family. My heart goes out to Jean. I hope you and my mom are getting the party started. I will always love you. This person said, "Thank you, Mr. Holmberg, for all you have done for not only me, but for the thousands of students you affected in such positive ways." And another student said, "A particularly ironic sense of humor is how I remember Mr. Holmberg. I always had a sense that there was this very kind and loving man who was desperately trying to portray a facade of sternness in an attempt to keep his class from devolving into chaos. In that way, I was part of a magical inside joke that I did not fully understand until I was an adult. Thank you, Richard Holmberg, for telling this shy girl who secretly loved to sing to join choir way back when. You changed my life, and I'll never forget you." The last time Mike and I shared time with Dick and Jean, we had dinner at Giovanni's and had so many memories to share. It was special being at an iconic Munster restaurant with a couple of Munster icons. The fact that they remembered my mom and spoke highly of her as an early Munster mom was even more touching. I recall in grade school at Eads and Lanier that Mr. Holmberg, Mr. Ford, Mrs. Stout had to visit the various schools in order to expose us to fine arts. Those days were special in so many ways. Preserve your memories. Like so many of us who attended Munster High and was exposed to his enthusiasm and professionalism in teaching and organizing choral music programs, we will carry the memories of joyous choral concerts, competitions, and yearly music theater productions to the end of our lives. Trying now to verbalize is what made Mr. Holmberg a great teacher, and as difficult as there is a mysterious connection that some people possess that I feel is based on them being a good person, that deep down cares about their students in a way that the mentoring the student needs is effortlessly passed on almost as a gift. I got this letter last night. This student says, "While I was never in the choir at Munster, I was very active with the band. As a drummer and percussionist, Mr. Holmberg asked me to play with orchestra and the choir. I fondly remembered performing Sleigh Ride at the mall." Anybody remember that? With him conducting and playing drum set at Teeble's with the choir for several events. Mr. Holmberg also gave me a strong foundation for music in his music theory class. Many of his strategies still ring clearly in my mind. My senior year, our band director, Coach Carmody, and I don't remember that name. Is that Carmody? Okay. Missed our final concert, and Mr. Holmberg allowed me to step up and conduct the concert. I'm currently in my 23rd year as a director of band and orchestra at a Huntington Beach High School Academy for the Performing Arts in Huntington Beach, California. 30 years as a teacher. Mr. Holmberg was one of my inspirations to pursue a career in music education. As a teacher, one of my biggest goals is to instill in each of my students a knowledge of and a passion for great music. This is what I was taught. Munster High School, class of '79. Dearest Mr. Holmberg, I can never repay you for all the wonderful music and people you brought into my life. You gave me the gumption I needed to succeed in a crazy world of theater, a gift of immeasurable value. One last I want to share. I had the honor and joy of being Richard Holmberg's first choir accompanist at Wilbur Wright. He was young, funny, and like no one I had ever known as a teacher. He was a great pianist and so passionate about everything he did. Jean Fort was my history teacher. What a team they made. My sister Jill Newsom worked with them all the years until retirement, and I had the privilege of playing at Richard's retirement party. Wow. And that's my sister who's been playing keyboard as you were coming in. She came up from Indianapolis. She wanted to do this as his first accompanist and paying this tribute, which I really am thankful for. Thank you, Jan. Thank you all.
Those are some amazing stories, and they're only just the tip of the iceberg. Like, that is what Mr. Holmberg was. He made us all into that, to lifelong appreciative music fans. Speaking of which, we have, thank you, I just got a little confused. Carl Linden. He's class of 1967. It was one of those. 1967. Obviously a student of his, left a large impact on his life. He is now, has been a professional actor and is mostly a professional musician, so please enjoy this. Violinist.
And his mother had a big impact on Richard.
walked down the street before, but the pavements always stayed beneath my feet before. All at once am I several stories high, knowing I am on the street where you live. I'm in lilac trees in the heart of town. Can you hear a lark in any other part of town? Does enchantment pour out of every door? No, it's just on the street where you live. And oh, the towering feeling, just to know somehow you are the overpowering feeling that any second you may suddenly appear. Stop and stare, they don't bother, for there's nowhere else on earth that I would rather. Let the time go by, I won't care if I can't be here on the street where you live.
Please join in singing. You won't need words.
I want to introduce now Duggar. He was never an employee of Munster High School, but he was always there. He was a fixture there for many years. He helped out. He was a drama coach for many years. He coached me. Many great memories there, and he was very close friends to Gene and Richard. So it's all yours, Doug.
What incredible musical talent, a reflection on incredible musical genius. I should have prepared some solos to sing for you, but I didn't want to put you through that. Instead, I'm going to read to you two remembrances that I think the people that were writing them wanted to be here, but unfortunately they couldn't. So in their memory, I'll read this, what they had to say. Richard Dick Holmberg. This is Reverend Myers, by the way. Brother Myers, if I call him. Brother Bill. Richard and I graduated from high school in Falkland, South Dakota, 60 years ago this season. At this year's annual reunion gathering, we celebrate our 60th anniversary as FHA alumni. Sadly, Richard won't be there to celebrate. He is the fifth out of our class of 27 to have gone home to God. But I have much for which to give thanks and celebrate his honor. I've gone through all 8 grades of elementary school in a small country school about 15 miles from Falkland, having grown up on a cattle ranch far out in the country. Having spent very little time in town except for Saturday nights, seeing the weekend cinema, going roller skating at the Legion Hall while my parents did their weekend shopping, and visiting with all the other farmers and ranchers who were also in town on Saturday night. Richard was a townie. Having gone all 8 grades in the town school, and he knew all the ropes. Somehow we connected right away. And he started immediately getting me involved in things and getting me educated to all the sophisticated routines of the big school. There was a grand total of about 225 students, kindergarten through 12th. For the school in our town of fewer than 1,000 residents. We had earlier shared the same piano teacher for a while, so we both had music in common. Richard had quickly far out-advanced me in keyboard ability, but he was instrumental in getting me involved, first in chorus, then in band, and our families worked together in getting us and other friends to concerts and contests far away in Aberdeen. It was 70 miles, but a long distance in those days. We also went together to MYF, the youth fellowship at the Methodist Church. Richard was one of the church organists, and he soon got me involved in playing the organ, which is still one of my favorite hobbies today. What I'm saying is that if it had not been for Richard's friendship, the shy kid from the country would not have gotten involved in all the things that have added so much richness in my life. We did a lot of fun things. We worked together dodging the coach who persistently wanted us to play basketball because we were tall. And we would rather stick to our music activities. We never got into much trouble, but there were occasions. We sometimes were late for class because we were too involved in something in the music room. But Richard always talked us out of being reported. I remember one time in the restroom when the old-fashioned fixtures with the water supply tanks high up on the wall suddenly ran over and soaked us both. Richard came up with some creative story for the typing teacher on why we had come to class in wet clothes. On our senior skip day trip, we went to the Black Hills. We're allowed carpool. Richard was driving one of the cars, and we kept stopping to look at things, making the chaperone drivers think we were having accidents or car troubles. And there was a bit of consternation over that. But we always had been such good boys that no one stayed upset with us very long. When we graduated, one of us was the valedictorian and one the salutatorian. The local newspaper got us mixed up on the front page. It caused so much confusion, I guess we never did remember which was which. But we had a good time getting there and enjoyed touting each other as the best. When we got to college in Aberdeen, South Dakota, Richard had already been taking piano and vocal lessons from professors there. So again, he knew all the ropes and who was who, and right away got me involved in music. He also urged me toward the theater department, which got me started in another lifelong passion. Our college paths diverged, he to Northwestern University and a great career in education and great music, and I to the seminary and religious life that led also to education as well as parish work. But somehow we managed through the years to stay in touch and get together once in a while to catch up. Following retirement, that got easier. Richard and Jean were annually with family in South Dakota during the summer and often popped into Falkland for some great times of remembering and sharing. We were together in Falkland several times for all school reunions and the gathering of most of our class. James and I flew to Florida several times for some fun and sightseeing with the guys, always recalling and making memories. Lasting friendship is a real treasure and blessing in life. I shall forever treasure in my heart the blessing that Richard brought to my life from the time we were just kids and for a lifetime. And the second remembrance is from Richard's niece, Wendy, who couldn't be here also, but she wanted to relate to you her feelings. Memories of Richard. Come July, I would look out the window in anticipation of the arrival of my Uncle Richard. In 1977, he pulled up in a Mark IV Lincoln Continental with custom orange plaid upholstery, the likes of which I had never seen. He threw the door open, his cat hit the driveway ahead of him. Now, I never asked him why he named that cat Fookers, but I had a pretty good idea. Each time he came to visit, his estimated time of arrival, ETA, was exactly 5 p.m. and was referred to as martini time. He sported luggage specifically designed to carry cocktail glasses, a jigger, lemon, peeler, vermouth, stainless steel shaker, and beverages. He even had luggage for his camera gear. The art of unpacking was a mental challenge, one of the most exciting mind games in the reverse engineering field. First, Richard would make an assessment of the situation in the trunk. Then he used some type of entropy analysis and would delegate all tasks to be completed. Each individual afterwards would be given an achievement assessment. Once satisfied that all was in order, we would hear about his trip from hell to get out there. After dinner, there would be a slideshow presentation with a narration similar to a reading by Sir Alfred Hitchcock, better known as the master of suspense. Those few hundred slides were a testament to his travels abroad. One of his favorite places to visit was the Amalfi Coast of Italy. The Amalfi Drive, which has been described as a gravity-defying thrill ride of a road stretching from the Bay of Naples to the Gulf of Salerno. Of course, the driver could not do any sightseeing, as the drive required his full attention. Somehow he managed to pull off the road and snap many pictures, including fragment hilltop gardens, pastel villages, mysterious grottos, ragged cliffs, and shimmering bays. The beauty of southern Italy's Amalfi Coast must have inspired him, as it did many other artists, writers, and musicians. My interactions with Richard over the years helped me to realize that. 1, too much time is wasted on worry, regret, pain, and heartache. 2, waiting for amazing things to happen in the future is not the key to happiness. Life is now. Create more fun in your life. 3, friendship requires time and attention. Nurture them like a prized garden. 4, passion upgrades your life. Every day becomes a gift if you do what you love. In reflection, it wasn't your big wins, great accomplishments, or your status in life. It was all the little things that you did. Thanks for the gift of love. Your loving niece, Winnie.
Raindrops on roses and whispers on
Now I'd like to introduce a man who was a colleague, a fellow teacher of Mr. Holmberg's at Munster High School, and of course, as I've said many times today, a friend, Mr. Jack Yerkes.
I thought I'd better include some notes here because when I was the star keeper in Carousel, he said, I gave you 120 line jerkies, put those somewhere in your vest and don't forget them. You know, it was a real privilege to work with Dick. My first memories of Dick came before I even began teaching here in Munster. Actually, before I even began teaching. My wife, Sue, was teaching 4th grade at Elliott, and she related stories to me of this young, creative, hilarious music teacher. I think this was about '62, when I was still in the Army, who played the Victor Borges stick to a class of 4th graders, who laughed as he slid off the bench and fell to the floor. But my wife said they loved music and responded to him so well. These stories from my wife continued until I came to Munster and met and worked with Dick. Fast forward to our son Andy, participating in choir, ensembles, and musicals, and relating stories of how he enjoyed music and Mr. Holmberg. Then our daughter Jill followed with her colorful experiences. You know, the stories and praise for Dick were never ending. Sometimes, I suppose, as a fellow teacher, I was envious of the love my children had for this wonderful music teacher. I knew what Dick had to deal with daily, what the guidance department did to him with guerrilla choir. He had 100 students in one period. I couldn't blame him for sneaking out the back door afterwards and having a couple of cigarettes. I saw firsthand the work hours and difficulty of putting on the yearly musical. He asked me to be Officer Krupke in West Side Story and the Starkeeper in Carousel. Now, they dressed me in an Elvis-like costume. And I was supposed to be a serious character, but when the curtain came and I was standing there, the audience fell apart. I found out the patience and strength of Dick and Jean. I honestly loved Dick as a friend and a colleague, but our son Andy put it best in his tribute to Dick. He said, "I don't have many really vivid memories of high school. I'm well aware that I didn't have it as bad as some, but most of the time it still felt like something that simply needed to be gotten through. But Richard Holmberg, his choir class, the ensembles, the musicals, they were different. When Richard or Jean Fort looked you in the eye and told you that the scene you just played or the song you just sung was just awful, it wasn't in any way cruel or discouraging. First of all, they somehow managed to make it funny. But you also knew that they really did see something better in you, that you had more to give than you were giving. There were no assignments pumped out of the carbon copy machines from some worn-out syllabus or lesson plan. This was a shared experience. We were making something with them, together. And if we were going to make something together, then damn it, it had better be as good as it could be. And they put everything into what we made. So they earned the right to expect as much of us as we, at age 16 and 17, could create. They taught us simply by being in their presence, tolerance and kindness. They taught us the fathomless value of tough love and unsparing truth. But in the end, what they really did was something only the truly great teachers are able to do. They made it all matter. And needless to say, they made it memorable. Safe journey, Mr. Holmberg. The world is poorer for your absence.
Do
They had to quit that. That song was just too long.
I'd like to introduce Linda Eisenhower. She is a fellow alumnus from Northwestern. Again, I just keep repeating myself. She's a friend, as we all are, but she's been friends with him since 1976.
I think it's very interesting today to follow Jack Yurkus speaking, because most of you don't know, but Jack and I were classmates at Logansport High School. And we became good friends of Richard's in completely different paths, but it's sort of interesting that that happened. Most of you here today knew Dick from Munster High School, but my husband Ron and my connection came through our beloved Northwestern University. I met Dick in 1976 when I formed a Northwestern Alumni Club in Northwest Indiana. He immediately became involved and joined the board. And then when he moved to Florida, he became the president of the Naples Club of Northwestern University. Eventually, we secured season tickets for Northwestern football games for him and Jean in the row right behind us on the 50-yard line. They loved those tickets. And they fly or drive up twice a fall from Florida to cheer on the Wildcats. We always had great times there, plus at the numerous bowl games that we all attended, cheering on Northwestern. Memories that come flooding back are the fun trips when we would go to Florida to visit him and Jim in Bert's store, Jean rather, and Estero. My favorite memory of staying at their home was when Alan Chow, a piano professor from Northwestern, spent a morning practicing on Dick Steinway, our own personal fabulous concert. When I remember Dick, I think of the following: his love of fast cars and fast boats, his dislike of shopping and shopping malls. I always wanted to go shopping when we went to Florida, but he didn't like that. His dislike of cooking, except for grilling steaks on his barbecue. His love of relaxing in his swimming pool. His love of Grey Goose, and what Ron and I call see-throughs. Playing his Steinway. His love of attending Chicago Symphony concerts and the Lyric Opera. His shivering at suddenly freezing cold fall football games, even though he had borrowed jackets from Jim Smallman and Doug Irk to keep him warm. Dick loved the Queen's Wave. I once gave him a small figurine of the Queen that waved. This reading was given at the Queen's mother's funeral, and I thought it would be appropriate to read for Dick's memorial today. So I changed it from the feminine to the masculine, and I would like to finish with reading this. You can shed tears that he is gone, or you can smile because he has lived. You can close your eyes and pray that he'll come back, or you can open your eyes and see all that he has left. Your heart can be empty because you can't see him, or you can be full of the love you've shared. You can turn your back on tomorrow and live yesterday, or you can be happy for tomorrow because of yesterday. You can remember him and think only that he's gone, or you can cherish his memory and let it live on. You can cry and close your mind, be empty and turn your back, or you can do what he'd want. Smile, open your eyes, love, and go on.
met Richard and Jean in 1963 as a freshman. The first thing I learned about Dick is he had this wonderful feeling for the absurd. It was fun. One day, the choir was all over the place. We were making a lot of noise, and he was outside of the room, and he walked in. He shouted at the top of his voice. We went silent. And then he looked at us. If we put 50 gorillas in a barrel, it would be better sounding and more organized than you are. From this moment on, you are the gorilla choir. Little did I know that I was there for the birth of the gorilla choir. But there's one other thing about Dick. He was a damn good musician. He was a wonderful pianist. He was extremely musical in the natural sense and also in the knowledge learned sense. Coming from a family of professional musicians, we all recognize that about him. And it's unforgettable. There's not too many classes I remember from Munster High School, with two exceptions. One, Gene Ford's class. He loved history, and he was good at it.
So good at me.
And Gene, I have this love of reading history and getting involved.
Getting involved with history to this very day. It's because of you.
Thank you. I love it still.
And then there was Dick. From the crazy, absurd, to the dead serious, he motivated more people to go way beyond what they thought they were ever capable of doing. And that made these two men the most memorable teachers, and also the most fun teachers, and the teachers I learned the most from when I was in high school. Later, I had the honor of being colleagues with them at Munster High School. And they were good years. Now, another colleague, Lloyd Lindquist, he couldn't make it, but he had put this poem up on the internet. And here it is. I guess we can call him our poet laureate of the Munster High School. 10,000 bits of memory, 10,000 hours of time, 10,000 different songs and 10,000 forgotten lines. 1,000 unique people, 1,000 bright young faces, 1,000 sorted backgrounds from 1,000 different places. Many a time of triumph and many a fun weekend, many a meal together and many a newfound friend. A few too many pictures, a few 2 hours of sleep, a few times of trouble, and a few mementos to keep. One more picture to take, one last production to stage, one more chorus to sing, and I close the very last page.
We're a last minute addition to the program, and neither of us could see very well. So
We're sharing music.
we're sharing music. But we were asked to do this. I can only think of having Dick in the back of my head, smoking a Viceroy, with his, you know, wonderfully coddling kind of way. God damn it, just get out there and sing. Here it goes. 76 trombones led the big parade, while 110 cornets played the air. Then I modestly took my place as the one and only bass, and I oomphed up and down the square. With 110 cornets right behind. There were horns of every shape and kind. Sweet dreams be yours, dear, if dreams there be.
Well, 110 cornets made the air.
I wish I may and I wish I might. Now good night, my someone, good night.
I remember it well. Thank you. There'll be one more upbeat, fun song that we'll experience after this, but I want to take this moment to say thank you. First, thank you to Jill Newsom for putting all this music together. Dr. Joseph Wagner was not introduced, but he was also a student, class of 90. Thank you all for coming. It's amazing. I'm honored to be up here. There's some great memorabilia, there's refreshments available, there's a cash bar. Please stay around and share all these stories, because there's hundreds and hundreds of them. And I've been personally honored to have been screamed at, poked in the diaphragm with the big pen saying, "Sing from your diaphragm!" You know, that's what I just did. I know fondly the sound of the keyboard cover hitting the keys as hard as it could possibly. I think he was mad at me that day. But I'm mostly honored to have been, just like everyone else here, from all the stories I've heard from those you've read, to have been mentored by him, to have been affected by him. My story is not unique. It's my story, but it's not unique. I've heard it over and over again. And that's what makes Mr. Holmberg's, Dick's, that's what makes his story, not a story, but it's a legacy. It's something we remember, it's how we live, it's how we move on, and I'll say it one more time. He was our friend. So I'm going to finish with what's in your program, just the last sentence. It was the last musical he did at Munster High School. And it reads, "Beyond his astounding gifts and abilities, Mr. Holmberg is a warm, friendly, straightforward, intelligent, and definitely unique individual that none of us will ever forget. Mr. Holmberg, we would like to thank you for sharing your extraordinary talents with us. To us, you will always be the genuine music man."
They were followed by rows and rows of the finest
about us, and that's why I didn't put all of their names in there. I just said, these are students from the past. And we have family members, Dick's sister Lynn here with us, and Dick's sister, niece Teddy, and Jean's nephew Randy with us. And so please get an opportunity to speak with them, go back in and get some refreshments and look at the wonderful memorabilia. Thank you to Dave, to Joe, and these wonderful people for sharing their gifts and honor and tribute for Jean and Dick. Thank you.
How are you, sir? It's very nice trivia.
Maybe you did make it.
I wasn't.